Hey, what's going on, everybody? I just want to put together a video. Actually, it's a video series, and I want to put it together with you to teach you how to set up a YouTube studio. This is going to be a full series from setting up the space that you're using, lighting, audio, everything, how to set up my backdrop, how I set up my cameras, how to edit the clips, and I'm going to try to do this as cheap as possible. Now, with that being said, I already own a ton of cameras, lighting, everything, but there are ways that you can get around doing it with all of the stuff I have. Right now, I'm actually filming on my phone, which is a Samsung S9 Plus. I just wanted to show you guys that it is possible to film this with a phone, and you can at least start a blog out, or a vlog, doing it right like this until we figure out what's going on with the entire country, entire world. And this is a great way to get going. I want to teach you, that way you can use this with your business that's probably hurting right now and get a better grasp on the situation and transition maybe into teaching or doing tutorials, anything that's going to keep your fan base, your client base coming your direction. So that's what we're going to do in this video. The first thing that I need to do is I need to get down into my basement and clean my basement because it was a mess. And this is going to be kind of rapid session. I'm going to be doing this with time lapse, getting everything set up, and then once I get to the portion where it's time to do lighting and audio, then I'll actually take it over to my good camera and show you guys how it's done that way. But as of right now, we're just doing everything on the S9 Plus. That way you guys can follow along and maybe start your own vlog today. So let's get going. I'm going to take my phone out of my cupboard now and get it off the can of peas that I have it leaning on. And let's get going. Let's go down in the basement right now. All right, I got the space clean in my basement that the makeshift studio is going to be. You saw kind of the transition. The next step now is to go get my desk and computers and all of that good stuff and get that set up. So let's head over to the studio. I don't know if I'm going to video this or if I'm just going to run over there and get it and get all that stuff, get it back, then we'll set up another time lapse. So let's just jump into the next scene here right now. All right, so we got the next part set up, and that is getting the first table here, getting my MacBook, and then mounting a, let me just show you guys what I got going on here. It's a articulating arm holding this onto basically a bracket that I built and then screwed it into the wall. It's kind of makeshift, but it's what we got working with. And yeah, we're like right next to some water pumps and stuff, or water, I don't know, pipes. But yeah, we're getting there and we're getting it set up. I still have to go to the studio. I decided to just use this desk because it was already here, and I'm also trying to clean my living room up. So yeah, now we need to go to the studio, get some trinkets, get all sorts of fun goodies for this, and get the rest of everything set up. So now we're gonna go. Okay, so I'm back from the studio, picked up a bunch of stuff. That light is really weird. It's like, look at this. Picked up some of the stuff. Gonna get the rest of the studio put together, the studio. And once I get the decorations and stuff on the background, then I'm gonna switch to the good camera and show you how I set up lighting and audio. That way you can hear everything really good. And then we're pretty much done, and then we'll get into, well, you've already seen it, but this is the editing portion of it. So yeah, let's set some stuff up. Time lapse away. Okay, so you're seeing the setup, the backdrop now all done and complete, and I'm now shooting on my Sony a7 III with the 35mm f1.4 lens, and I know most of you don't have a $2,000 camera with a $700, $800 lens laying around. You can actually get away with this by just using your cell phone and propping it on a pillow or sitting it on a tripod if you have a cheap tripod, or there's many different ways. I'm just showing you what I have and hoping you guys can get tips from it on how to set it up. This is the best way to do it as far as what I have available. So, and that's all I really want you guys to do is focus on getting the best quality product you have with what's available. I'm not expecting you to go out and spend a bunch of money. That's not what this is about. If you want to, go ahead. You're probably going to be waiting like a month for it from Amazon, but if you want to go ahead and do that, go ahead. But the problem that we're seeing right now, not only is the audio a little off, but the lighting is terrible in here. It's very dark. You can't see me. So I'm going to show you how to do a 2-point lighting setup with lamps, clamp lights, whatever you have sitting around, and show you what that looks like. We're going to switch over to the GoPro. I'm going to kind of bounce back and forth between the Sony and the GoPro and show you how to set this up. So let's jump over to the GoPro right now and I'll show you this setup. All right, so I'm on the GoPro now and I want to show you the lighting setup that I'm using for this. And I have a 2-point light setup, and what I have is I have an aperture light. Yes, this is like a $250 light plus like a $75 grid on the front of it. You don't have to go that far and get one of these bad boys. But what you can do is just take your lamp and set it up so it's actually not directly in front of you, but it's going to be just a little bit off center. So what that's going to do is that's going to create more of a look. So if I'm sitting here, and what that's going to do is that's actually going to hit the side of my face here instead of just being straight on. You want to kind of hit just the side of your face. It's going to give that little bit more dramatic look to it. That's the way that I go with it. And then what you're going to want to do after that is that's going to be your main light or your key light. What you're also going to want to do is put a kicker light, which is this bad boy right here, which is another aperture light. And I just have that set up with a orange filter on it just to match my background lighting. You don't have to do that. It's just what I have preferred. So what that second light is going to do is it's going to actually kick an orange light off my shoulder and just give it that really good look, a little bit more cinematic. Let's jump back over into the Sony now, and I will show you the lighting setup when I turn it on. Actually, before we do that, so this is my camera setup right here. This microphone's not hooked up right now. It's just kind of sitting on there. But this is going to be the setup, and we'll jump back in now and we'll get on the Sony camera and show you this lighting setup and just how it looks if you just set up some lamps. All right, so my lighting is all set up now, and which is with this remote right here that I have. My lighting is controlled by a remote, so that's the way that I can turn mine up and down with just using lamps or clamp lights or whatever you are going to use. Just move them further away if you have to. If you have a dimmer, put them on a dimmer. You can get like cheap ones at Walmart. I know you shouldn't be going out, and I know I'm telling you a bunch of places to get stuff. Like I said, use what you have around you. A lot of people are really going to just understand. They're not really going to think about it. They just are going to be happy that you're putting content out at this time. All right, so I'm going to hit my first light, which is going to be my key light, and you can see what that is going to do with the exposure. So I'm exposed for the background, and I'm just going to hit this light. And as you can see, it has completely changed the look of this video just by adding that one light, getting it in on my face, and being able to do that. Now, if I add that second light, what it's going to do is it's going to kick and bring in more of a shadow on my shoulder, light up this side of my face a little bit more, and it's actually lighting the background a little bit more too. So that's a really good way to do it. It's a really good way to keep everything looking good and keep everything looking, just kind of looking at my screen here to make sure everything looks good. But this is a great way to get a kicker light and get a little bit more light on your background. As you can see, I'll turn that light back off again and then back on. It's just kind of lighting the background a little bit. If I turn my key light off, you can see what that looks like. And that's going to look like this right here. So it definitely does add a lot. And when you add both of them, or take them both away, and then you add both of them together, you get a look like this. So that's just two lights. You could do it with lamps. You could do it with clamp lights. You can do it with whatever's laying around. It's just exposing and aiming the light at me instead of at what's going on in the background. And you'll have a good setup. Now, let's work on this audio. Okay, so we've got our lighting down. Now it's time to work on this audio. As you can tell, it sounds like I'm far away from the microphone because I am. The camera is 3.5 feet away from me. I can probably reach out and touch the camera, but I'm not gonna. So what we need to do is we need to work on the audio and figure out a way to get it a little bit better. Now, I have a $300 microphone that I'm gonna be using. I don't expect you guys to have one of those. If you do, awesome, use it. If you don't, you can go on Amazon, or you can actually probably find one on the marketplace and just look up a lapel or a lavalier mic. It's also known as a lavalier mic if you're French. I just like throwing that in there because I like saying lavalier. But yeah, go in, find a lavalier mic, and what that is it's a mic that clips right onto your person. It clips onto whoever's talking, your speaker, or you can put it right off camera on the ground or wherever you want. Now what we'll do is I'm gonna go hook my microphone up, and you're gonna see the difference in what I've done, and then I'll explain what I did. All right, so now you're hearing me with the external audio hooked up. I have a microphone just out of frame right here set up, and it's recording the audio, and I know this sounds much better. I know also that there is still a little bit of echo in this room. It's the next thing that I need to work on by basically just putting some more stuff in it. Like I said, I am in a basement, but this is a great way to get much better professional sounding audio, and it just makes your video that much better altogether. If you do not have a microphone and a boom arm, and I'll show you a little clip over what it looks like, how it's set up. But if you don't have a boom arm like this, there are other options that you can get off the internet or a local camera store. Even Best Buy has some. They're called lapel microphones or lavalier microphones. They're a little clip that'll go right on here. You can get them for pretty cheap, and it's the best way to get audio. This is probably going to be your last step because you're probably not going to have something around the house that you can substitute in for this. But this is definitely going to make your video that much better, much more professional. On that note, I think this is where we're going to leave you for today in this video. The next video for this series is going to be how to edit on free software. I use a Mac. I know there's a couple options for Windows too, but stick around, watch the playlist, and once again, if you like this video, please hit that subscribe button and the bell notification. I will talk to you guys later. Peace.